Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 27. It is Thursday, and I had a really clear title over today's podcast come through when I was preparing this morning, and the title was Trusting Timing. Trust the timing. And so I was so excited. I was like, great. I have the title. It's all just going to flow. I don't need to think about it. And then I kept asking, what does that mean? What does that mean? Trust the timing. How do we trust the timing? And right as I was starting this, I sit for a minute just to really tune in before I start talking. And I was asking again, trusting the timing. What does my soul mean when I say that? And what I heard instead was trusting the flow. Trusting the flow. We are dissolving the need to hold on to time, the need to have a linear timeline where there are dates and events and assignments and tasks and projects and all of these things that need to be accomplished. I believe we're starting to dissolve some of that attachment to time. And so for me to say, trust the timing, contradicts what I'm feeling, which is trust the flow. Trust the flow. So let's focus on that energetically. If you follow astrology at all, or if you even look at Facebook or social media, you will know that it is a full moon in Aquarius tomorrow, and that there is a lunar eclipse. Everyone who says it with a big drum roll. Lunar eclipse tomorrow. So there is a whole bunch of stuff going on astrologically. And there are many experts who will share much more eloquently than I do. What I will offer is trusting the flow means surrendering to the knowing that there is something much grander going on in our human journeys than what our minds can try to predict or plan for or prepare for or talk about or control. There is a grand plan. Our souls are always guiding us in the direction that is most going to serve, even when our mind is fighting and resisting and arguing and trying to put the brakes on. When the soul is ready to expand or to awaken or to shift or to let go of some old belief, the soul is going to make that happen, and the mind and the body will show the resistance by the way that you are in turmoil or chaos or fighting with yourself or sick or exhausted or whatever ways your resistance is present in your body or your mind. You will know you're in resistance because it feels so uncomfortable. It's much like when you stand in the river, for example, a stream, or maybe go a little bit bigger than a stream so you can really feel it. Like maybe it's a little river that's up to your knees, perhaps. You can still hold your balance. When the river starts to pick up steam and it's going faster and there's a little more water coming in and the current is quick and the wind is blowing, it takes your body a lot of energy to hold steady against that natural force of elements that wants to move you downstream. And so your body is gripping and holding on like, right, I will stand my ground. And then what if it suddenly pours down rain upstream and there's this influx of water, and all that water comes rushing down the stream, and suddenly your little stream is river up to your waist, right? And you're standing there holding your ground. You will not budge. You will not move. This is where you're going to be. And your entire body is in like this resistant stance of, I will not give in to the current of the river. You can feel how much tension the body and the mind have to exert to resist the force of nature. So that is what many people are experiencing right now, will experience as the full moon and the lunar eclipse and Uranus and Mars and Mercury and every other planet is beating humanity over the head to say, oh yeah, times are changing, and the way you've been standing up is just not going to cut it anymore. All the planets are doing their job astrologically. So people, many, are going to feel how much effort it takes to stand their ground or hold the way they've always been. And at some point, if they really just keep trying, the river is going to tickle the bottom of their toes or their calves and knock them at the knees, and they're going to just get dragged under. So what I offer in this podcast is a vibrational feeling, an invitation when the water is still down at the knee level. When you're standing in the river that you chose to stand in, you chose to be a soul in a human body on this planet at this time, or you would not be listening to me. You would not be breathing. You would not be functioning. Every human has a soul inside that chose to come and have this experience. And so you choose to stand in the river. So let's own that first. Picture yourself standing in the river, owning it. I'm here. I chose it. Sometimes I wonder why the hell I did, but I chose it. So as you stand in the river and you can feel the movement of the stream, what if you sit down? Imagine you can just kind of sit down, take a seat. Instead of standing up all the time and fighting and resisting, just sit down in the river and cool off. Cool off. As you sit down in the river, allow your body to feel the movement of nature. So start to trust that this river you chose to be in has a natural flow. It's flowing. It's going to keep flowing. Life is going to keep moving. It's going to keep flowing, and all of the natural elements and consciousness and love and light, all of that is going to be part of the river. So allow your body to feel a trust in the natural process of the flow. Yeah, and notice when you're just sitting, feeling how you are immersed in the water, you start to trust the water, you start to connect to the water. So what if you can visualize, because it's still only up to your knees, so if you're sitting down, it's at your shoulders. What if you could like put your hands underneath you and then sort of lift your body up so that your legs are kind of floating and just your arms are touching the ground and supporting you? Get used to that feeling. There's this beautiful flow of the water and this little stream, and there's no danger. You're completely in harmony with life. And then what if you could lift your arms up and you could just start to flow? You can keep your hands to your side and bump against the side of the stream if it's a little river, and make sure you don't hit any tiny rocks on the bottom. Like, you can use your hands and your arms to kind of feel, or your legs, but what if you start to float a little bit downstream? Notice how it's an unusual feeling, might be a little uncomfortable because it's new, but you already trust the water. You trust that you chose this stream to be in. You trust that there's a movement that's going downstream. And there's probably going to be some other people floating along in a little while. So what if you just sort of start to move with the flow of the water? And then you could even like look up at the sky while you're floating. You can see that there are clouds and birds and sunshine. There's a breeze. You can look around at the side of the riverbanks. You can see the trees that are steady and strong. You might even see little villages or houses. You might see fields with sunflowers. Like, you're just floating. It's just life happening, and you're just floating downstream. And maybe at some point you'll stop and you'll sit on the side of the river and just watch for a while, and you'll get back in, you'll float down a little further, and maybe there's a little party on one of the river banks. Like, you just start flowing. You just start flowing, and you trust, like, life is just going to move you in the direction that most serves you. And so all that effort that you used to put into holding your ground and standing strong and resisting and fighting, all of that, when it dissolves, that effort, that energy that you used to pour into fighting and resisting, it becomes creative energy. When your eyes aren't looking for the thing behind you that's going to hit you or attack you or jump out at you, when you're not preparing for all of that danger, and you're floating in the river, you can see the beauty of this world, the beauty of this human life. You can see nature, Gaia, Earth, all of the majesty that she presents to us every single day. You can see all of that when your eyes are open and you can look for it. That's the energy, the feeling, the vibration of trusting the flow. Let go of timing. The stuff that your soul wants you to do is going to get done in the perfect timing, beyond what your mind thinks is a logical plan. It'll happen. It'll happen. So take some time today, tomorrow, this weekend, and just visualize, feel what it's like to be in the river and just float. Just float downstream and trust life's flow. It's good. It's really, really good. Thank you for tuning in to today's vibration. Let's take this message of pure love out into all of our communities and continue expanding love here on Gaia. So much love from my heart to yours.